Randy Cohen, I love seeing you. I don't see you enough in Austin. And oddly, the last time I saw you was actually in Antarctica on the other side of the planet.
That was ridiculous. I mean, that I got to hang out with you, you with that hairdo look like some of those penguins. I mean,
That's actually
it was beautiful. I mean, that was, the fact I don't even know if I knew you were there. And I hop on this trip, and all of a sudden I see you on the list, and I'm in Chile with the legendary BW. I mean, how cool was that? We partied, we laughed, and we smelt a lot of penguin shit.
That's true. And we did actually find some penguins with mohawks. So all those things are very true.
Yeah.
It was a blast. And I'm looking forward to, we'll get there, I think, in this conversation, but I'm looking forward to checking out the new tejas, which is your most recent business adventure over the last few years in Austin.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I've already won. I've done pretty good. Have a 35-year-old company in TicketCity that's still crushing it. Amazing team, right seats in the bus, leaner and meaner. And I had the opportunity, I was just an investor in tejas, and I was excited about it. And then it kind of went belly up. So I bought them out. So now, as a 50-year-old plus gentleman starting a new career as a restaurateur, two things. I just want to see, when everyone says, dumb, you should never do something like that. Don't tell an entrepreneur not to do something. They're going to do it just out of spite. But for me, the cool thing about this is it's not about me. I've won, but can the people that are passionate, that are running the operations for tejas, I want to see what they can do. It reminds me of a story. There's a guy by the name of Augie Garrido, and Augie Garrido was the winningest baseball coach in college history. Coach for the University of Texas. And Augie and I used to go down to Eddie V's, and I'd see him on 6th Street. And he was sitting next to me one time. He says, Randy, you're not going to believe this, but, we were just at the College World Series. And, I went out to change the batter. I went out to pull the batter out. And when a manager makes a decision to take a ball from the pitcher or change the batter, he doesn't change his mind. They're just old, wise, Yoda type managers in these, baseball world. And so he goes out to change the batter, and the batter looks at him and goes, Coach, I can hit this guy. I can hit this guy, and Augie heard what he said, and he's like, all right. And I said, Augie, why did you not change the batter after you made that decision? He goes, Randy, I just wanted to see what he could do. He just wanted to see for himself. Well, the guy whacked a home run and led Texas to the College World Series championship. So the point is, sometimes not doing anything are the best things to do. So with me and tejas, it's the same thing. I want to see Robbie wants to make this the best investment I've ever done. These guys deserve a chance. And if someone's passionate and you got an amazing executive chef and amazing chief operating officer, let them go and make that happen. I'm going to lead them all the way. And it is exhausting running restaurants because there's so many just gut punches of all the little things that happen that you have to deal with for making what I call mouse nuts, little nickels and dimes at a time. But if someone wants to go for it, human capital is the best thing that we could ever have. And let's give other people a chance to win and support them. And what I've learned from TicketCity and culture over the years that I developed, I have the same game plan, and it seems to be working.
Well, let's talk about that. So people, for sure, especially with, I think your personality speaks to it right away. You are a people person, and people like Randy, and for lots and lots and lots of reasons that I could share. But TicketCity, I want to get to kind of how to find good people, and maybe you can just tie it in here. But give me a little backdrop on TicketCity. So you mentioned 35 years.
Yeah.
What's the foundation of TicketCity? What is it, and kind of what was the path for you there?
Yeah, so TicketCity, 35 years ago, I took my life savings of $1,200, and I bought $206 seats for the big game. It was the University of Arkansas in basketball, #1 in the country, playing the University of Texas, #3 in the country. And I thought for sure this game's going to sell out. And you know what? It didn't sell out. And I'm thinking, geez, I'm going to lose my life savings. This is ridiculous. So I go out there with my 200 seats and I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. And all of a sudden at the box office, you see the little sign pulled down in front of the box office with a big line saying sold out. And I'm like, woo, woo, stand back, non-believers. And the line turns around, and there I was with 200 seats. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's your lucky day to be in the loop of love. And I sold all the $6 seats for $15 a piece. And I made a quick $1,800. And I'm thinking, this is way better than waiting tables and bartending. I can do this little arbitrage stuff. Fast forward from 87 to 96. This is where the epiphany happened. The epiphany was at the Olympics in Atlanta. I got a call at about, 10 in the morning. Lady calls up and I'm like, hey, thanks for calling TicketCity. This is Randy. How can I help you? And the lady says, well, I want to go to the opening ceremonies tonight. Do you have any seats? And I'm like, absolutely. We have great seats. How many do you need? Well, she just says, I need one. But the thing is, I don't have a ride. I'm thinking, that's weird. You don't have a ride. And I'm thinking, Rand, you need to do this. And I said, ma'am, it's your lucky day. I'm coming to get you. And I went and rented a black Lincoln Continental. I drove an hour and a half outside the city and I picked up this lady. She was a 75-year-old grandmother. And she was so excited to be going to this bucket list event. She couldn't believe she was getting to go. And I'm like, way to go, Randy. Way to do the right thing long after the feeling of doing it leaves you. And we drive and she's teary-eyed and we get there and we see Muhammad Ali light the cauldron and we see all the Olympians and all their colors of glory from all the different countries walk into the venue. And it was amazing. And she had an amazing time, got her home late that night, got back. I was exhausted. I went to the office the next day and word starts to spread around the office. Hey, did you hear what Cohen did? He blew off his plans and he took a grandmother to the Olympics. You know what? To the opening ceremonies. And that's what happens. That's the epiphany. Your team starts doing that. Your team starts doing the right thing, helping make dreams come true long after the feeling of doing it leaves them. And it blossoms into the culture that you're really looking for of caring, compassion, and what I just call the loop of love.
I love that. So at that point in 96, how big was Ticket City in terms of employee, in terms of revenue, whatever metrics you want to share?
Yeah. If I go back to that, we had the brokerage side. So we were probably doing 12 million in sales and revenues around that time. And then a few years later, we were still growing, and the year 2000 came, and I had the opportunity to buy a company called soldout.com. And I had a line of credit with the bank, but all of a sudden, 2000, we had the crap that went down where the whole world's going to explode. And the bank's like, hey, Randy, I got to take the line of credit away. I'm like, what? We just are trying to buy this company. Sold out. I need that money. And I, maxed out credit cards. We figured it out. And this is a company on the East Coast, 1-800-SOLD-OUT, which is still our number today. As soon as we ended up buying that, people started calling us for U.S. Open tickets and tennis. Then we had the Yankees Mets in October in the World Series. Then we had the Giants make the Super Bowl. It snowballed, and our sales, that's when we had the website. 96 was when things started kicking. And by 2000, the website was really crushing it. So, with that, we were doing $100+ million in revenue a year on the internet. And then we had our brokerage side too, which was doing really well on inventory that we owned. So it was a hell of a fast journey. And the thing is, you learn. I was all about slow, steady growth. I never took any money in playing the games that a lot of these, big companies do, raising a ton of money to have too much spend. And that's why the company 1-800-SOLD-OUT went belly up, because they tried to grow too fast and then, they ran out of cash.
So what were you mentioned the brokerage side versus the other side. What are the two sides and how did that work for you?
So our brokerage,
or how does it work today?
inventory, just having the investments in inventory. So we own all the college football season tickets across the country. We own NFL tickets, NBA tickets, Major League Baseball tickets, concert tickets. We own inventory that's repetitive inventory year after year. So
do you have contracts with those teams to buy X amount of tickets every year, or what is that? How does that work?
sometimes, you have personal seat licensing, let's say over at Coda Racetrack for Formula One. So we own the same seats year after year. Same thing with NFL. We bought personal seat license, which is basically just locking in ownership for the inventory for a long time. And then we do have deals and contracts and rev shares and all the different things that can be win-win. At the end of the day, it's how do you make things win-win for everybody, and how do you be the fast motorboat to adapt to all these changes that are out there? I mean, there's a lot. You got to be fast because, with this iPhone, people get 20 times the work done now than they did when it was back in the phone and fax days and yellow page days when we started. You have to be agile and ready to move fast.
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, having a website in '96 and moving through the .com era when you were coming from all pre-internet. So you started, the first one was what you said, 87?
Yeah. You're talking about advertising in the USA Today. People are calling you on your 1-800 sold out number, and you're trying to take orders that away. So yeah, a lot of changes in the internet world, and we see that today. We remember when you had garden.com in Austin and Dr. Coop and all the different websites that raised a bunch of money, and everybody went belly up. And, we were able to adapt and be agile, and, TicketCity's still crushing it today. We're having some of our best years ever the last couple of years after COVID. And that way I can focus on the restaurants and get a, great team together and be a cheerleader.
Well, obviously, the marketing strategies changed radically between 96 and, 2022. But from you started by talking about sort of culture and employees and inspiring the team. How big was the team in 96?
Yeah, it was, we had a lot of people in the office. I think we had like 30 some, and people were just running around like chickens with their heads cut off, having to answer the phones. And, we were the first, online company taking orders in the secondary market in 96, but it was still, not really developed. And I think, as we continue to grow, we had as many as 68 employees. Now TicketCity does everything with 14 employees. So, the point being is COVID enabled us to get focused, get lean and mean, and, put money towards the top line. So a lot of blessings happen when you're kind of out of business. I mean, obviously TicketCity during COVID, there wasn't any event. So how are you selling tickets? It was painful.
Yeah, I bet. That's wild.
COVID was able to really help people get focused and figure out what we need to do to remain relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a brutal thing to go through with two in-person live event based companies, right? A restaurant and TicketCity. And COVID's got its own challenges in general, but I guess we'll stay there. So culture being what a big deal it is for you. And I want to go back a little bit and talk about kind of concrete elements of culture, but how did COVID change how you built culture and built